Now we're going to go through some hardware troubleshooting. So I did see that you guys, or some of you guys, have your meters here. That's good. We're going to go through. We're going to, on the drive, should be able to tell, if we have bad input rectifier, bad breaking transistor, IGBT, that type of thing. Just wanted to kind of go over our support, the different methods that you can contact us. I do realize, depending upon where your machine room is located, sometimes cell service is non-existent. That does make troubleshooting difficult. It's bad on both ends of the spectrum. It's frustrating for us, frustrating for guys in the field. But we do have other methods. If that is the case, is what you can do. Yes, you can call us back, relay information, that's fine. But if you'd like to communicate via email, is what you can do is send an email to this address right here, elevator@kebamerica.com. This email is linked to 4 of us in the elevator group, and whoever's available will take it right away. So we try to answer as soon as possible. So if email is your preferred method, that is one way. Another thing that we're doing is we're putting more YouTube content out. So if you would like to view the videos, how to do a diode check on YouTube, we actually have our own channel. We go through diode checks, we go through changing the control card, the encoder card, that type of thing. So again, if you can put it on your smartphone, great. That's one thing. And then also we have a KEB blog. It's different than our website. KEB is a German company, so they are in charge of the homepage. But the KEB blog is ours. We control all the content, the layout, and everything. And we have a dedicated elevator page as well. On that, you'll find PDF downloads of all of our manuals, both for the old keypad, the new keypad, links to our YouTube videos, that type of thing. Just wanted to make everybody aware of that we do have those different options. And of course, you can always call into KEB. Just call into the direct line and ask for elevator tech support. I'm one of the guys that you talk to, and we have 2 other dedicated application engineers that can help you out. All right, so we'll go through a few of the things that you can look at on the hardware side of things. And again, if you're going to do these, we encourage you to call KEB if you've determined that you need a new drive, you need to replace it. Call with KEB first, and we'll look at the serial number. We'll see if the drive is in the warranty period. We can help you out there. And you can ship the drives directly to us. However, all the paperwork as far as the PO and everything needs to happen through the controller manufacturer. Again, you can ship to us, but the PO, you will have to contact the controller manufacturer. So the first one, we're going to do the power supply check. So David had a good example over here. He's got a dead keypad behind him. So some things you can look at there. If you've got a dead keypad, what you can do is pull the keypad off, pull the cover off, and take the encoder card off. And then put the keypad back on, power up, see if your keypad lights up. In some situations, I have seen that a bad encoder card will actually draw down the supply enough to cause the keypad not to light up. So you can just pull the encoder card off and see if it lights up. If that's not the cause, what you can do is measure DC voltage on terminal strip X2A across pins 20 and 22. You should see approximately 24 volts coming out of there. If you see something around 18 to 20, that's normal as well. But if you're not seeing anything there, then that likely indicates that you've got a switching power supply issue on the drive itself. I'm going to have everybody pull out their multimeters here. And if you've got diode check mode, I'd like you to put it onto that. I know some of the simpler ones may not. So everybody know what the diode check symbol looks like? It should be this triangle with a vertical line next to it. You might have to push the second function on your meters. So I know sometimes people might check these with a resistance. We're actually looking for a voltage drop, so it will be different. So what we're going to do here, we're going to check the input rectifiers. So we want to make sure that your rectifiers are functioning correctly. This is something you can do in the field and determine which phase needs to be repaired. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your black lead of your meter and you're going to put it on the plus DC bus terminal. And then you're going to take your red lead from your meter and go to L1, 2, and 3. And what are you reading on your meters? 0.5? Okay, so that's about right. Anything around 0.3 volts DC is what you should be reading. 0.4, 0.5, that's fine. If you're reading something way out of bounds or a short, then that's going to indicate that you have a problem. So again, you have to go to all three phases, L1, 2, and 3. They should all read approximately the same. And then what you'll do is you'll do the other side of the diode. So you'd take your red lead and you'd put it on the negative terminal. And then you'll take your black lead and go to L1, 2, and 3. And you should see approximately the same values, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. If you're reading an open, it could be that you're not making a good enough connection. So we recommend to put, when you put the leads in, go all the way to the back and then angle them up. And if you're still nothing, then the inputs could be bad on that one.
You don't bring faulty equipment.
I did. Well, we want to show what it looks like, yeah. Yeah, all of these units came from our service department, so they are damaged. So you should be seeing a faulty reading or a short.
Yeah. You said from the sales department, right?
What's that?
You said they came from the sales department?
Service department.
Oh.
Service department.
His new sales area.
Okay, so that's the input side of things. So that's something that you can do to make sure the rectifiers are okay. All right, the next one, if you're getting the EOC, the air overcurrent, you've disconnected the motor leads from the U, V, and W terminals on the drive, and you're still getting the EOC. You're still getting the overcurrent, so it's likely something on the drive is causing that. So we can do the same style of check. It's going to be the same diode check. So what I want to have you guys do is take your black lead from your meter, put it on the plus terminal, and then take your red and go to U, V, and W, and tell me what you get on each phase. 0.1.
Yep. What's the shot? What's the transistor? It's twisted.
There should be some shorts out there. Oh, I hear a short there. What phase is it? U phase. What drive number do you have? What drive number do you have? If you look right next to the keypad. No. 1. Yep. The U phase is bad on that one. Oh. So again, this is something that you can do in the field. You can determine which phase is bad. Again, this is going to be something that the KEB service department would have to take a look at. And then yeah, we have the other direction. So you'll take your red lead, put it on the minus terminal, take the black, and go to U, V, and W, and you should see approximately the same readings. Okay, and then the last check that we can do is the braking transistor. So if you're getting an overvoltage fault and you're using a braking resistor, the resistor you've checked already, looks good, sizing looks good, all your connections were fine, and you want to make sure that the transistor on the drive is okay. So you can also do a diode check there, and it's going to be much the same. You're going to take your black lead, put it on the plus, take your red, and go to PB. And you should be getting approximately 0.3 volts DC. 0.4. That's fine. So you're short there. What drive number do you have?
10.
Yep. Bad braking transistor. So, okay, so if you guys want to put your meters away, that's going to conclude the diode check part here. Now this procedure we have outlined in our manual as well, along with the recommended voltage drops that you should see. The 0.3 volts, that's gonna you should see for all these drives here. However, some of the larger drives actually have a different value that you should see, and actually you might be seeing an open across, especially the breaking transistor for some of the larger drives. Again, we have indicated that in the manual for what size drive you have, what values you should expect. And again, these videos are also on YouTube to do a diode check. We go through how to do it. So if you forgot which lead goes where, check out YouTube, look at our manual, they are there. Or you can call me up and I can walk you through it as well. You can actually do a diode check on the R6 as well. It's actually the R6 is going to have the much of the same inner workings as the drive. It's going to have the input rectifiers. It's going to have a DC bus. So you can do a diode check on the input. Again, that's just going to be the same procedure. You should be seeing around that 0.3 volts DC voltage drop on your meter. A quick note on the R6. The R6 has got 2 internal DC bus fuses, and if the fuses are blown and you do this diode check, you're going to get a false reading. It's going to read open. You need to replace the fuse. We'll talk a little bit more in troubleshooting with the R6 and kind of that procedure, but that is just one thing to be aware of, that there are 2 fuses inside the R6, and that if you are doing a diode check, you need to check the fuses first. If they're open, you're not going to get the correct reading. So we're going to move on to field replaceable components, things that you can call up the controller manufacturer. If you've got the part number, you can order them and replace in the field yourself. That's going to be the keypad, the control card, the encoder card, and on the R6, the fuses. Yeah, I know in some cases the R6, if the fuses have been blown, customers don't want to take the chance. They just want to send the unit back to us and have us take a look at it to see if there's anything else wrong. Because if you blew the fuses, likely that there was a power spike either on the incoming or if something happened on the motor side. So you could have some other damage other than the fuses being blown. This control card here is, again, for the G housing and above. The smaller drives, so like the E and the D and E housings, so these are some smaller ones up here. They're actually going to have a control card that looks a little bit different. It's going to look narrower. This is an R6 one. The R6 is in a E housing, so it's the same E housing drive, same E housing F5, but it's an R6. All right, non-field replaceable components. These are things that you're going to have to send to KEB, and we're going to have to take a look at it. You're going to be the input rectifiers, the IGBTs, DC bus capacitors, the power stage board itself, temperature sensors, charge resistor, charge relay. I have fans on there. The fans is kind of you can replace in the field if you wish. The things with the fans is that the connection terminals have been switched depending upon how old your drive is, and we need to make sure you get the right connection. Some of them might feature a 2-prong connection to the power stage. Some of them might feature a 3-prong connection. So if you call us, or call, I should say, the service department for that, you give them the serial number, they'll be able to tell which type of fan you need. But if you're just unsure and you'd want us to evaluate the drive and function and load test it as well, you can always send it back to us. Replacing the keypad, the biggest thing, just want to make aware is that tab, again, when you put it on, it will stay on like that. It will light up. You need to hear that click. The encoder card is going to sit right on top of the control card here. There's a few screws that you would have to loosen. Again, you should always power off when you're doing this. And you'll pop the screws off, take the encoder card off, put the new card back on. This is a little bit more involved, mostly because, one, we need to make sure that the ribbon cable from the power stage board is connected properly here. On the H housing, it'll be run through this plastic guard here. And then another thing to be aware of is this little guy down here. This is coming from the from the power stage board, and this connection needs to be there. Anytime you're going to make a control card change, we recommend you call KEB just to be sure that there's not any software or hardware compatibility issues. Our most recent drives within the last few years, it's fine. You can make changes, but it's around that 7 to 10 year mark is where some hardware and software changes were made, and you might have a compatibility issue. Hardware-wise, specifically this guy here. So call us. We'll verify what you have, get you the right control card if you need it. If you do not connect this guy here, you will not be able to perform a motor learn, and you will get a low motor current error. That's what will happen. All right, replacing the R6 control card. The biggest thing here, if you're going to pop the keypad off, you need to pop this cover off. There's a few screws, as well as this cover here. And then internal, this is what it's going to look like. Here are your 2 DC bus fuses. And then the control card is actually going to fit in there vertically. And these pins here are going to go into this connection strip down here. I need to make sure that all these pins line up, that you're not off by one. A note on the DC bus fuses in the R6. There's no fuses to replace in the F5. This is only for the R6. But these fuses, you can actually visually see if they're blown or not. It's going to be indicated by this little tab here. And if you look in this picture, see how it's blown open? That indicates the fuse is open. So when they blow, sometimes they blow one at a time. I've seen both. If you have this situation, I know David said that you're probably going to send it back to KEB to have us take a look at regardless. That is fine. If you have this situation though, and you want to just replace the fuses, see if that's all it was, you can do that, that's fine. Just order the fuses, we'll send them out to you. But in that situation, is what I'll have you do is I want you to power up the regen, the drive, and the motor all separately. So what you would do is shut power off, take the DC bus leads off of the drive to the regen, and just power up the regen. Does the regen power up okay? Everything's fine? Okay. Cut power off, hook your DC bus connections back up, make sure your motor is disconnected from the drive, and then power up the regen and the drive together. Does everything power up okay? You didn't blow anything? Okay. So if all that looks good, then you can do your final connection, connect your motor, and power up everything there. The reason we have you power up independently is because a shorted phase on the motor, a shorted IGBT, will actually cause these fuses to blow. They'll travel through the drive, through the motor, back to the regens. So you'll get the new fuses, you'll put them in, you'll power back up, you'll blow the new fuses again. And you still don't know what the issue is. So if you power up independently, that way if you do blow them again, well, you know that when you hooked up the drive, that it was the drive that was causing it, or it was when you hooked up the motor. Also, another thing to kind of take one more step to avoid blowing the fuses again is to do a diode check on the drive. Anytime you blow fuses on the regen, always do a diode check on the IGBTs of the drive. That way, if one of them is blown and we see it on the diode check, you can save yourself a set of fuses and get that fixed right away. Always call us first. We'll verify, make sure that it is indeed a drive issue that needs to come into KEB for an evaluation, and then provide us the serial number. We'll check on warranty, that type of thing, and then you will call the controller manufacturer and indicate that you'd like to send in the drive for us to look at. You can send the drives directly to us, but again, paperwork needs to be handled through the controller manufacturer. A note, I know with elevators, depending upon the application, especially hospitals, time is very important. and you may need to get the car up and running soon. In that case, if that is the case where you cannot afford to wait, I would suggest, regardless if the drive is in a warranty period or not, to order a replacement. You do have the option to next day air the drive to us. You can rush it on our end, so we get it in. We should be able to get it back out within a day, and then next day air it out to you guys in the field. But regardless, even if you rush it, you're looking at a 3-day turnaround time. A day to get it to us, a day for us to look at it, and a day back. So you're still ending up with 3 days. If the car needs to be running tomorrow or at the end of the day, it's easier to just order a replacement. If the drive is within warranty period, that's fine. We'll issue a credit, no problem there. If it's out of the warranty period, we can fix it. We don't have to fix it. It's up to you. You can indicate that. If you choose to fix it, that's fine. You've got a spare, so if that happens again, you can just swap out. But we just had a few situations where ultimately it's easier to just do that. Another note too, I know some building managers, they want a status update every day on how their drive is doing, where it's at. If you have any questions, if you sent us the drive and you're wondering, did we take a look at it? Did we find anything wrong? You can call us, but talk to the KEB service department. They'll be able to better tell you what's wrong or what they found with the drive. You can talk to me, but ultimately is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check our ERP system, and if there's nothing in there, but if they're looking at it at that moment, I'm not going to see anything, and then I'm just going to call the service department anyway. So just call, ask for the KEB service department. If you've got the serial number, they'll be more than happy to give you an update on what your drive is doing.